All right, we are live. What's going on, everybody? Give you guys a second or two to chime in, come in the room, getting everything set up here, get my notes. Hopefully, everybody had a good day. So this is my second show. This is my second show. So if I seem a little nervous, this is the first time me hosting it by myself. I got my Bears gear on. You know, give everybody a good shot of the gear. NFL draft is going on tonight, so yeah, Bears about to pick Caleb Williams and then find out what we're gonna do with the ninth pick. But we are not here to talk about the Bears. All right, I'm just rocking the gear, you know. But we are here to talk about the Chicago Bulls. We got 9 people in the room right now. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Just getting my notes together. Let's see here. Make sure I got everything up on Facebook here. There we go. All right, man. So we're gonna get this show started. Hopefully everybody had a good day, good week so far. Tomorrow is Friday. Happy Friday to everybody that has made it this far. Yeah, we're gonna talk about the Chicago Bulls, man, because there's a lot of things that are up in the air for the team, for the organization, for the front office, for the players on the roster. A lot of questions, and so we're going to talk about that. I'm going to make it short and sweet. The show may be about 30 to 45 minutes. We may make it to an hour, but it's not going to be too long because we got the NFL draft coming up, like I said. So this previous weekend, just to give you guys a brief oversight of what I've done, as you guys know, I referee basketball. This is why this show is titled The Ref's Call. I had a busy weekend. It was a really busy weekend. Refereed for the EYBL girls tournament. It was held by Nike here in the 757 in Hampton. Locations were Boo Williams, Hampton Convention Center, and Christopher Newport University, which was cool. I got the referee teams from all over the country: Seattle, Wisconsin, Illinois, Minnesota, Maryland, the Southeast. I mean, you name it, they were there. And surprisingly, we had teams from Canada, so that was really cool as well. I got to referee about 2 to 3 teams from Canada. And believe it or not, man, them shorties were balling. They had some shorties out there. They got some game, man. They had this one shorty. She was about a good 6'2", so she was the big man, but she had a burner. I'm talking about she come off that screen, get to the wing. If you leave her open, she knocking it down, man. The game I ref, she hit about a good 3 to 4 contested three-pointers. So that from college range. So that was really good, man. And the age group was 16 under girls, man. So that was really cool. Dawn Staley, she was in the area. She was at Boo Williams. I did not get to meet her because I was not at the site that she was at. But you had Team Durant, CP3, Team DeRossi. It was quite a few teams that were sponsored by pro players, both in the NBA and WNBA. Their teams were in the area, so it was really cool. I got to see that. And then aside from the EYBL tournament, we also had the PIT, which is called the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. This is a national tournament that's been going on in the 757 for the past since 1953, I want to say. Surprisingly, the reason why the Chicago Bulls are linked to the PIT is because this is where Jimmy Butler played at to get his name recognized, because the year that he played in it, he was also the MVP of the tournament. And the Bulls drafted him in the second round, and the rest is history for his career. So shout out to the PIT. They brought us Jimmy Butler. Jeremy Lin has played in the PIT. Like I said, Jimmy Butler and a slew of other professional guys. Robert Covington, he's played in it, just to name a few guys. So I went to that event. Like I said, I know a sports manager from LA. She was there. So we talked back and forth on social media. So she was there, got to link up with her. Went to the luncheon. Met a couple of sports agents, fresh onto the scene. Like they just took their test and they passed it. So they were fresh onto the NBA agent scene. It was cool meeting them. Got to meet Joey Crawford. If you guys don't know who Joey Crawford is, he is a referee in the NBA from 1977 to 2016. And if you don't know who Joey Crawford is, look him up on YouTube. He's responsible for giving Tim Duncan a technical foul when Tim Duncan was on the bench. It was actually pretty funny because Tim Duncan didn't do anything. But Joey Crawford, he was cool. He's a short guy. He was about a good 5'6", 5'7". Needs a shot from all the running he did. He refereed longer than I've been alive. I'm only 31. But it was cool meeting him, did some networking, and I got to see senior college players from all over the country: Ohio State, Illinois, Alabama. Gonzaga, UNLV, you name it, they were there, man. And in front of NBA scouts, coaches. There was I can't remember the woman's name. She's from Chicago. She played in WNBA, but she was there. She was coaching as well. I cannot. Cynthia Cooper. Cynthia Cooper was there. I saw her. She was coaching. You guys don't know who Cynthia Cooper is. Do your homework. She's one of the baddest female hoopers to ever grace the court. She was there. It was cool seeing her in action. So my weekend was filled with a lot of basketball, high level basketball. Like I said, college seniors, EYBL for Nike, and everything like that. So that aside, now we're going to move on to the next thing I got coming up. There is a Division III camp coming up here in Hampton. I'm going to be going to that. There's going to be a lot of pro NBA guys there, and I was told that I have the opportunity to go college. So I got that in the ranks, or in the works, I should say. So hopefully it's a good camp, because if it's really good, then there's a possibility I could get picked up to referee Division III basketball, and then you just work your way up from there. We shall see. I registered for that today, so I'm excited about that. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll see that I'm constantly in the gym. I got to running behind high school guys and college guys. You got to stay ready and active at all times, man. So all that set aside, let's get into the Chicago Bulls. What is going on with the Chicago Bulls? It was a very mediocre season. We finished up 9th in the East. We were hit by the injury bug. Crazy. Patrick Williams, Zach LaVine, and I forget the other guy that we had, but he was hit hard by the injury bug. So injuries killed us in any outlook that we have for this season. Of course, Lonzo Ball, he did not play this season because of the injury that he had. But the big thing that everybody wants to talk about right now, which is fresh and new, is the Most Improved Player Award. Was Coby White snubbed? In my opinion, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I believe he was snubbed. This is no shot to Tyrese Maxey, because Tyrese Maxey did have a hell of a season. He's one of the best up-and-coming stars in the league. He's a pivotal piece for what they got going on in Philadelphia. But in my opinion, I think Coby White should have gotten it, only because, let me read you some stats. Coby White played in 79 games, and he averaged 19 points, the most in his career. This is after he played in 70-plus games last year, and he averaged 9 points. Tyrese Maxey, he played in 70 games this year, and he averaged 25.9 points per game. You just want to say 26, you can do that. And this is after he averaged 20 points last year. So it was an improvement, the most in Tyrese Maxey's career as well. But this is a little bias here. I try not to be too biased. But just a little bias is that if you look at the overall impact of which player had on their team, which is more important, the slight edge, in my opinion, goes to Coby White. So I feel as though Coby White should have gotten an award. But Tyrese Maxey, he does have a case as well. So now we have DeMar DeRozan. He's up for the most clutch award this year. It's between him, Brandon Ingram, and somebody else. I can't remember. Hopefully DeMar DeRozan gets it. Hopefully he gets it. The Bulls should get something out of this season. So hopefully he gets it. And Patrick Williams, somebody wanted me to go over Patrick Williams. He was another one whose contract is up for discussion. And I'm going to go into AK's press conference shortly after I talk about P. Will. Patrick Williams, he's one of those players on the team where there are guys who either like him or they're ready to move on from him. I'm one of those guys that like P. Will. You saw the improvement that was taking place before the injury happened. He was getting more aggressive on offense. He was actually becoming more consistent from the outside, from the arc, from the three-point range. And you saw the development taking place. And that's one of the things that AK preached about in his press conference was development. And P. Will he's on that trajectory. He was on the similar trajectory as Coby White. So P. Will, I think he should stay because he is a pivotal piece, only because we have so many contracts up for discussion. Vucevic, we have DeMar, of course LaVine, of course Lonzo. And if you, this is a good segue into AK's presser. If you go back and listen to AK's presser, which I highly recommend everybody do, it's only about 18 minutes long. It's not that long. But one of the things that he talked about was that we cannot run it back. Changes have to be made. And he also said that they're going to be really aggressive in free agency. And he was asked about why did they not make any deals this previous trade deadline. he said as though what deals could have been made that would have kept the team competitive. And I would get in spaces all the time, and I would talk about that with fellow Bulls fans, and they would say, we gotta make a move, we gotta do something." And I'm learning to really look at things objectively when it comes to being a GM, because okay, let's say he makes a trade. Am I just making a trade for the sake of making a trade? What is the outcome of this? Are we talking long-term money? Are we talking short-term? You know what I'm saying? Think about Pascal Siakam. He got traded to Indiana, but is he going to sign a long-term deal if he hasn't done it already? We don't know. You know, so sure, AK could have made a trade, but would it have moved the needle for the team? Not necessarily, you know, in my opinion. Or it could have. But we shall see. But like I said, he said we were going to be pretty aggressive in free agency. And he said that we can't roll the same team and expect a different outcome. And another thing that he said that I really appreciate AK for saying was, he said, somebody asked him the question, is Billy the coach to lead this team to the promised land in the future? And me and my guy Morris and Ray talked about this in the previous show, was that Ray brought up a good point, and I agree with him, is that Billy was handcuffed by injuries. The one time that the team was fully healthy, we saw what the team could be. They were number 2 in the East. But then injuries happened, and they all went down the drain, and they never recovered. So one of the things that AK said was I never gave Billy enough to work with, even after the injuries. So he is cognizant of the areas that he has come up short in as the GM. So I want to give high praise to AK for that. He gave high praise for DeMar. And this is my next segue into DeMar. Like I said, we're going to roll because I know we got the NFL draft coming up. Any questions you guys have, please hit it up in the chat. But we got 100 guys in the stream. Shout out to you guys, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in. This is the second show of the Refs Call. We got 100 people tuning in. I'm streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. I really appreciate you guys, man. And give me critiques, man. Give me critiques, lighting, video, my speech. You know, I'm open to all types of constructive criticism. You know, I can dish it and take it at the same time. So I'm not soft in that area. But going back to DeMar, I was talking to a guy today at the gym, and he said, "Are you guys going to keep DeMar?" Because he felt as if DeMar was inconsistent. I told him, I said, "No, man, we need to keep DeMar. He is the leader of this team. I want to see DeMar retire as a Bull because of what he brings to this team. We need that veteran presence in Chicago because of the moves that AK may possibly make, and you need that leader. And right now, who is the leader of the Bulls? Who is the leader? Is DeMar DeRozan. He not only talks it, but he walks it on the court. He brings it consistently game after game after game. And he does a great job of taking care of his body and staying healthy. So, in my opinion, I would love to see DeMar stay. But he also said in his end of the season press conference that he wants to win. So, is he willing to stay on a team with possibly a lot of change coming about? And if he doesn't want to stay, you can't blame him. So it's kind of a win-win situation. If he stays, you know, we have our guy, we have our leader of the team, we have someone that we can depend on. But if he goes, then it can, you know, we're going into that, okay, this is a rebuild, bringing in fresh legs. We have a vision for the team. So I'm somewhat indifferent about whether DeMar stays or goes. I would love to see him stay because of what he brings to the team. But if he leaves, I definitely understand why, because he wants to win. He's on the tail end of his career. He is still very effective. He can still give you 20 points easy. He is the mid-range assassin, the best mid-range player in the game alongside him and Kawhi. He's one of the best, if not the best in the league. So that's my take on DeMar. I would love to see him stay. AK wants to see him stay. AK wants to get a deal done. He mentioned that in his press conference. So we shall see what comes about with DeMar. Let's see. Let's go into my next point. Somebody asked AK, did he want to make changes in the front office? And he said not necessarily. He kind of shot that question down in a heartbeat. So don't expect any questions to come about in the front office for the Chicago Bulls because the team has been together now for 4 years. And again, injuries has killed this team. Injuries. So we can't really know how effective of a vision, if that makes sense, that AK had for this team because we never saw it. We only saw it for a short amount of time. And that time that we saw it, like I said, they were number 2 in the East. They were top 10 defensively, top 10 defensively and offensively. The team was doing amazing. They had the league on fire. And the Bulls being fantastic is great for the NBA because it is the 3rd largest market in the country. We always do well in merchandise sales. We're always top 5. We're always top 5 in attendance. So that's not an area of concern for the brand of the Chicago Bulls. It's just the fact that the Bulls these past couple of seasons have been very mediocre to borderline average. So it's all about the product on the court, man. Another thing that AK brought up, and I'm kind of going to harp on this a little bit. He said that the big 3 did not work. He said it doesn't work. So what does that tell you? This big 3 is not going to be here next season. Don't be surprised if Vucevic is gone. Don't be surprised if DeMar is gone. Don't be surprised if we stay with LaVine because of the contract that we gave him. We may not be able to find a trade partner for LaVine. Hopefully we do, because I'm in the camp of I'm ready to move on from LaVine because of can you really depend on him? This is not a knock on his talent. Zach LaVine is a top 30 talent in the NBA. Offensively, defensively, not so much. But what Zach LaVine can bring to a team offensively, that has to be acknowledged. However, is he a guy that you want leading your team? And that was the question that was proposed to us by Daniel Greenberg last season during the Spaces. And he asked me, he said, so would you give LaVine that deal? And I was hesitant about the deal being given to LaVine because I had my concerns then about the type of player that you want leading your team. And like I said, I wouldn't mind seeing LaVine go. Would it suck? Yes, because he's been with us for the past 8-9 years. But I think it's time. It's one of those things that it's time, man. You just have to find the right trade partner. And when you find that right trade partner, who's willing to take on the bulk of his salary? Would that be the Chicago Bulls, or would that be the team that he may go to, i.e. the Lakers, or somewhere else that may need help? But yeah, AK stated that the big 3 doesn't work. Does it work? In my opinion, it did when we were healthy. But the one thing that is harming this big 3 is that point guard position. And Lonzo Ball was the architect of that offense. And ever since he went down, it just has not worked. So my rebuttal, if I was in that room with AK, which I hope to be one day, I would love to be, a media member for the Chicago Bulls, so I can really talk ball with those guys, with those players, the front office, Stacey King, Adam Amin, all those guys, and Chuck and Bill. I would have rebutted to AK saying, okay, it may not work, but why doesn't it work? Because that question was not asked as a rebuttal to AK when he made that comment of the big 3 not working. And in my opinion, the big 3 did not work because of the injury to Lonzo Ball. We saw what it was full strength. And I keep harping on that because, in my opinion, that's the number one issue for this team and why we have not seen the success that we are accustomed to seeing with this franchise, that we really have not seen since the Derrick Rose era. So I wouldn't say that it doesn't work, but you need that guard. And Kobe White, the type of guard that he is, he's a scoring point guard. He's not a guard that you just want out there directing traffic. He can do it, but it's different with Lonzo Ball. It's different with a guy like that. Kobe White is more of a Kyrie type of guard. You know what I'm saying? He can run the offense, but if you need a bucket, he can go get you a bucket. You know what I mean? But you need a guard like a Drew Holiday. You need a guard like Alonzo Ball for the offense that we have. You need a guard like a LaMelo Ball. That's the type of guard that the Chicago Bulls needed if they want to, that they should have brought in once Lonzo went down. And that was the one thing they never got. And another position that we have yet to get right that nobody talks about a lot is the wing position. I've always felt that P. Will, that he's not a 4. He's not. He's a small forward. So in my opinion, I always thought that P. Will was playing out of position. He's more of a small forward. And we never got that position together. We never got it together, man. And so it was fully healthy, it worked. But once the injuries happened to the point guard position, man, you saw the flaws. You saw the flaws, man. Lonzo made up a lot for those flaws, man. So going to my next point, somebody asked AK, would he be willing to go into the luxury tax for this team next season? And he stated blatantly that I don't mind it, but the GM, has to be able to go to Jerry Reinsdorf and tell him this team will be a top 4 team in the conference in order for us to go into the luxury tax. And I can't knock him for that. I cannot knock him for that, because take a team like Phoenix. Take a team like the Clippers. Who would you rather go into the luxury tax for right now? Of course, the Clippers. Look at where they are right now. Phoenix, nah. I knew that mix was not going to work. I knew that was not going to work. You're talking about Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, who are two of the same type of players, along with Kevin Durant. You move away DeAndre Ayton, so you're hurting down low. Granted, Ayton is not the best big man, but he provides something down low. So who you got running the offense? And they say, well, we got Devin Booker playing running the guard, but that's not his position. So it didn't work. But so now you go into the situation where you had these high hopes. You just brought these stars together and you're hoping that it worked, and it doesn't. It just doesn't, man. So AK will really have to sell Jerry Reinsdorf on a luxury tax, and on this team to go into the luxury tax. And right now, no, he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. If anything, it sounds like AK is ready to just tear it down and build it back up, or make a lateral move by moving on from Vooch, moving on from Levine or DeRozan, keeping one of the three, and just working with the pieces that we have. Who would I like to see stay? I would love to see not Javon Carter. He can go. Javon Carter can go. I would love to see Javonte Green stay. I would love to see him stay. He should have never left. Keep P. Will. Work out a deal with P. Will. But of course, if P. Will is still searching for $20 million a year, then P. Will, you go test the market. And if the Bulls counter, then you come back. If not, best of wishes to you. But that's not my decision to make. That's AK's to make, because he may very well do it. I don't know. But keep P. Will. We got Kobe White locked up. We got Ayo locked up. Keep him. Bring Drummond back. You need that solid big man down low that you can plug in and play. He's not a starter. He is not a starter. Vucevic, a lot of people already moved off from him. Vooch is one of those guys, man, that I love him offensively. But he's the type of big that you got to pair a solid forward with, or power forward with, to make up for something defensively. But he can, like I said in the last show, he can still give you 20 and 10 a night easy. But if we move on from Vooch, who would you bring in to replace what he brings you offensively? You're talking about a 5 or a center that can spread the floor. He can spread the floor. He can score from everywhere. He's very lazy on defense. He's very bad in rotation sometimes. And sometimes he gets very 3-point happy. And that's kind of where he shot himself in the foot at in the play-in game. Speaking of which, what happened in the play-in game, Chicago? Me, Morris, and Ray. We pushed it last show. We said the Bulls can definitely win this game, but it's going to come down to the chess match between Eric Spoelstra and Billy Donovan. And what happened? Eric Spoelstra had those guys ready to play. And we lost the game handsomely. We shouldn't have lost that game, in my opinion. The Bulls were a better overall team. Even with the injuries, the Bulls had enough to win that game. And it was competitive for the most part in the first half, but then by the third quarter, the game was a wrap. It was a wrap. The Bulls they had the life sucked out of them. Miami Heat went on a roll, and it was just all she wrote. It was all she wrote, man. So, yeah, that's my one knock on Billy Donovan, is that once the injuries happened, he never readjusted his offense. It seems as if he wanted to stay with the status quo, and he never readjusted. And there's been a one knock from a lot of fans, me personally, on Billy Donovan. Can you adjust? And He didn't. So yes, AK did not provide him with enough ammo once the injuries happened. But also, Coach Billy, you got to be able to adjust your scheme, man. You have to. But it is what it is. The Bulls are done for the year, so I expect there are going to be a lot of changes coming to the team. And the reason why AK said that he's going to be very active in free agency is because this draft is not that strong, guys. This draft is not that strong. And I can tell you from what I saw personally at the PIT here, this national tournament that hosts all these college seniors, there was one guy that really stood out to me personally, and it was a guard out of UNLV. It's about a 6'4" guard, could really shoot the ball. But you didn't really have anyone that really just wowed you like, yo, he's going to be fantastic. And granted, these are college seniors from all throughout the country, so a lot of these guys are fighting to get their notoriety up, because a lot of the one and dones, they don't play in this type of tournament. This type of tournament here is not a last resort, but it's one of those things that you're going to do to get more focus on you in front of scouts for the NBA. And like I said, this is where Jimmy Butler was founded. This is where Jeremy Lin was founded. Robert Covington. So a lot of it's a very good tool for a lot of these seniors to use. But like I said, when I was sitting there, of course you had your wild plays because these are college athletes, high level Division I college athletes. So of course there was some wild plays, a lot of alley-oops, great shots, good defense. But just having an overall guy that just like, yo, he got something, it really wasn't there, man. So I can see why AK said that he's going to be very active in the free agency pool. Who would I love to see the Bulls go after? My dream. Guard-wise, I would love to bring in LaMelo Ball. If there's a way that we can snag him from Charlotte. I don't want Trae Young. I know he's going to be on the trading block soon. I've always said that Trae Young is the type of guy that you do not want leading your team, because you're not going to win a lot with him leading your team because of the style of play that he has. And it's showing. Yes, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals that one year, but ever since then, they haven't done much, and they're looking to break that marriage up in Atlanta. But for the team that we have, if we were to keep DeRozan, if we were to keep Vooch, move on from Levine, somebody's getting moved. I want to bring in that guard that we can just, you run the offense like we have with Lonzo. We didn't need you scoring a lot, but there's going to be a totally different team. So we don't know what type of guard may be required to run the offense. So Kobe White, he could be that PG1. Him and Ayo can continue to rotate, and we just bring in talent on the wings. I would love to find a way to get either, and this is going to be tough. This is just me, my wishful thinking. I would love to either get, this may sound crazy, I would love to either get PG or Kawhi or Kevin Durant, because we need that wing play. But that's, like I said, that's my wishful thinking. So everything that I went over, who knows what's going to happen for the Bulls next season? Nobody knows. But AK, he was stern. This big three doesn't work. And so changes will be made. Do I expect a big splash in a trade? We shall see, man. Who knows? So, but that's going to wrap up this next, this second episode of the Refs Call. Just to go over everything, I appreciate 151 people tuning in. You're making the brother's heart glad. Like I said, hit me up in the comments. Hit me up in my DMs. Any constructive criticism you have on lighting, video, pronunciation of words, my mannerisms, give it to me. Give it all to me, man. I'm open to it. But just a recap. I had a great weekend of basketball. I refereed the EYBL Nike's Girls Tournament, 16 under referee teams throughout all the country. Referee teams from Canada. I went to the PIT, saw high-level Division I college seniors do their thing on the court in front of NBA college scouts. I met some college agents, met up with my friend Sarah, who's a LA manager, who's a sports manager from LA. Did some good things with her, went to the luncheon. I met Joey Crawford. Short guy, like I said, 5'6", 5'8", needs a shot. Refereed in the NBA from 1977 to 2016, so it was great meeting him. I'm getting ready to go to a Division III basketball camp where I'll be in front of other Division I referees, NBA referees, and I have the opportunity to get brought on to staff to referee Division III basketball, so that's going to be cool. Went over the Most Improved Player Award. Did I feel that Kobe White was snubbed? I did. He went from averaging 9 points last year to averaging 19 points this year, and he played 70-plus games in both seasons. It went to Tyrese Maxey, who averaged 20 points last year, and he went from 20 to 26 points this year. So it's not that big of a snub because, yes, there was an improvement on Tyrese Maxey, but looking at the impact that Kobe had on the team when the injuries happened, you just saw this switch go off in Kobe's mind, and he just took over. He helped carried us into the play-in tournament. Him, DeMar, and Vucevic. I went over P. Will. AK said that he would love to bring P. Will back. You saw the development that was taking place in P. Will. But it all depends on what P. Will's camps want for his contract. We'll see where it goes from there, man. Other than that, that was about it. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. 157 people are tuning in. Like I said, I'm going live, or I am live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I don't know when the next show will be. I try to do it on Thursdays, though. That is a day that I have within Ray's Juke Joint. And tune in, subscribe into Ray's Juke Joint. We have a fantastic show for the White Sox, the Chicago Bears. We got a good thing going here. Ray is doing his thing. Shout out to Ray, Elise, Isaiah, Julius. We got another show coming up soon for another Chicago franchise. So it's going to be great, man. But now it's time for the Chicago Bears to do their thing in the NFL draft. So I'm about to get up out of here. I'm about to go to the sports bar, get me a good seat, give me a good drink. Y'all be easy, man. Peace.